Hi, friends. I hope you're doing well, and it's a nice, glorious day for you. My name is Tracy Brown. I am your somatic nutrition dietitian and a tuning specialist, and I'm going to do like a little, I guess, educational slash introduction slash encouragement video today, just because I've got lots of new people on my page here. We've got lots of new people in the intuitive eating support group, and just want people to know who I am, and what all this is about. So thank you all who are watching live. I always appreciate you, and you letting others know about what's possible in terms of making peace with food and weight for good. So I want to talk about the many paths there are to making peace with food at the beginning, especially of the process. So remember, it's a process. If you're starting with coming at your journey from the angle of an eating disorder, you know how confusing and how hard it is, and how much guts it takes to be vulnerable, to reach out to watch something, and to basically do things that are in total disagreement of the eating disorder. So difficult. And you're going to hear voices like, I don't really need help, and this is not going to help me anyway, and nothing's ever going to work, and oh my gosh, what if I gain weight? And it's going to be loud, and it's going to be hard. So if you're watching this, that's already a sign of your willingness, and I think that's amazing. And so before we get to, again, some of the different paths to this, I want to talk about just really briefly, so those who don't know me that well. So I'm a dietitian, I'm a somatic, and all what somatic means is of the body. I do a lot of bottom-up approach to helping use the body as a resource to recovery, not just cognitive, change your thinking. I mean, we do need some of the change our thinking, of course fat doesn't make you fat, and just because the culture says things that thinner is better doesn't mean it's true, and learning how to notice what we think and how that impacts our behavior so we can make different choices. So that's the cognitive stuff. But I also use a bottom-up body-based approach where it's what is the body saying? What is the body saying you need, and what you need to do, and what would be better for you, and what's missing or what's too much. And so I feel like without that approach, there's just a hole. There's a missing hole in recovery that can fill, and that's why I do that work as well. So somatic would mean of the body, what's happening in your nervous system, what is your body saying, not just what you think should be happening with your head. And it's especially helpful for those of you who have I've read all the books, I've listened to the podcast, I've been in therapy for years, and it's I'm better, but there's something missing, and that's usually the missing piece, usually that attachment piece, or the somatic, or working with what's going on in our sensory system. That all impacts digestion, all impacts how we can have accurate signals of hunger and fullness and all that. All right, so that's all really important to know, which is what I'm about and what I do. So I've recovered myself. I had the extreme discomfort and privilege of doing treatment when I was really quite young, and saw right off the bat when I was still a teenager how eating issues come in all shapes and sizes. And when I was in treatment, I essentially was the thin one. Nobody else was. It was really interesting to break through that bias and that prejudice at such a young age, to know that I know it's difficult to sometimes see some of the lots of voices of people who are in smaller bodies talking about eating to recovery, when not everybody looks like that. And so I'm highly aware of my privilege around that. And no, I don't take it lightly, but I also don't take anything about me that's special, or don't take myself that seriously and thinking that I had anything to do with my body size. I just know that well, this is just what happened, and all I want is for people to suffer less. That's it, which is what I do this work. And so I offer my clinical experience, my 13 plus years of training, all the trauma training and work, and my own personal stuff and overcoming, to be able to share with you. So that's what that's about, if you don't know much about me and why I'm here. All right, so let's go back to the many paths to we're getting where we're going to go. So this happens a lot. People come to me in all different experiences with diet culture, with disordered eating, and they already come to me oh gosh, she's going to put me on a meal plan, make me do a food journal, make me track hunger and fullness. And I'm not going to make you do anything. However, we all have different deficits, and we all need different tools. And so what I notice is some people do need some containment. When I say containment, that could actually mean a meal plan with like using a plate method, or it could mean that we do better with exchanges. Everybody's unique and different. And so it's just not a one size all fit approach. Some people like really just need to do some food journaling so they get some data and information, some collection around like how what's happening in their day and in the nervous system is impacting, and their emotions is impacting their food. And how sometimes when we think that we're really full, it's not that we're full of food, it's that we're full of something else that we don't know how to navigate. And so we can see that like in full view on a piece of paper or on an app or whatever it is that we need. Sometimes we just need it for our own personal accountability to like push forward and push through, and it's a tool. Some of you are going to just eat the food, and that's exactly right for you, and you need to be doing that. So it's like unrestricted eating, eat as much as you need to, whenever you want to, whenever you need to. Some people really need to do that. Some people do have some medical nutrition things that that are kind of pressing, that need addressed, and that really can't be ignored. So we have to do a mix of like some medical nutrition stuff and the attuned eating process to prevent any unnecessary like discomforts and things like that. So I'm sharing that with all because we're on online land, and there's all kinds of resources, and because sometimes we go into this process of really just not knowing what we need. We just read all the books, and then we adapt a strategy, and then feel really disappointed if it doesn't work. It doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It just might not work for you. It might be better for somebody else, and we need to try another resource. And so I just want to encourage you, like, if you're finding yourself reading the book Intuitive Eating and it feels really dogmatic and like rule-based, well, that's either a couple things. There's a part of you that is just healthfully trying to keep boundaries around being bossed around again with your food. Okay. It doesn't mean that those guideposts aren't helpful. It just means that like we need to have some self-respect around being told to do, but you don't want to throw it all out with the baby with the bathwater. Some of us can see those rules and think, okay, this is how it has to be, and this is the only way it can do things, and that's not true either. For some people, they can just kind of like hold it with a light hand and recognize like it's a guidepost and that's all it is, and I'm doing my own thing with it. That's wonderful if that's what happens for you. So just want to put that quick video out there that there's a lot online, and it's easy when we have wounding around either authority or perfectionism or being told what to do or feeling controlled, or trying to do it right. Pretty much we can take anything and turn it into another distortion of what our wound is. So just kind of be mindful of that, like, really be introspective of like, well, where am I struggling with these concepts, with health at every size or intuitive eating? Where am I struggling in this process? See where your struggle spot is, or where your blind spot is, whether it's acceptance of a different size body. Where is that coming from? And what is the defensive strategy for that? Or how is that somehow protecting me? Is that protecting my feelings of lack of self-worth, or is this a pride thing, or is this a fear thing, or what is this? If it's struggling with just fully letting go and letting yourself have what you need, there's probably a nourishment barrier there of like, I kind of know what I need, but I don't feel like I'm worth having it. That needs to be worked on. Whatever it is that you're noticing that you're struggling with, I'm having trouble like really letting in the good. There's probably some vulnerability issue there of like, if I let the good in, then it'll hurt me. If I let the good in, I'll be vulnerable, and then like, I can't be strong, and I won't be seen as like, people will mess with me. Whatever it is you're noticing that's impacting your food, it's a wound that needs to be looked at. So I want to give you this bigger bird's eye picture of like, well, why some things are trickier for you, and start to get more curious about that. If you need more help, please let me know. I'm usually able to discern that pretty quickly in the first even time we talk, even if it's like a quick little free session, to be able to see like, hey, I think this is your barrier right here, or one of a handful of them maybe, and that's okay. That's there for a good reason. It's definitely figure outable, and this is what we could do. So thank you all so much for watching this video about just in general, some of the process, where you're getting stuck, and knowing that, like, it's a process. And if you're feeling really triggered by something that you hear online or you see that people say, or if you get corrected by, hopefully gently by me or somebody else, there's maybe something to that that's not about you personally or an attack. It's about, like, let's look a little deeper, okay? All right, well, thank you so much, and I'm always up for being wrong and being corrected as well. I'm totally up for people putting me in my place if I'm missing something, or I'm not acknowledging, or I'm not hearing something that I need to be hearing. So thank you all so much for watching, and if you need something, please let me know. Take care.